This is the Broodcast, Inkling-style Discord chat, last Friday of every month. To join, visit joshuadavidling.com/brood. And now, Operation Broodcast on Poets at War.
We're lion, witch, and warded, yeah. Our imagination's running wild and free. In Middle Earth or Narnia, there's magic in what we believe.
And there's another. Hello, Abby.
Hello. Oh, I flipped my camera. 1 second.
It's all good.
Oh, it's like crazy. I'm going to the Wally World.
I didn't hear any of that.
No.
Would you say something, Carrie?
Oh, I saw him going to Wally World.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I don't know how to flip it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Do this. It has been a minute.
Here we go. Ooh, I'm going low on gas.
Fun.
Sorry, I'm not exactly fully awake at the moment, but I am doing my best. It has been quite the week.
Just revved my truck up so hard that it opened up like my what do you call it? Glove box. My glove box flew open. I went so fast.
That's ridiculous. You're passing someone or
I
something?
was like, "Hey, what now?"
Were you just passing someone or just being crazy?
I turned out of my driveway and I gassed it, and then all I see is my glove box fly open and all my papers just go flying. I was like, "Oh,
Serves you right." Oh boy, that's funny.
yeah." No, my truck is fast.
What up,
Compared
Ian?
to my other one.
Glad to have you here, man.
Yo, what up, Ian?
Hello.
Don't pretend that you like me.
I don't have to pretend. I never didn't like you.
Still, it's funnier if he pretends, because then it's like double positive.
Yeah, something like that. Ian, you stink or something. I don't know.
Dude, I cannot remember how to do this. I give up.
Your father smelt of elderberries.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the smell of elderberry.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of weird, because I think elderberries also, I also think elderberries smell fairly decent.
I think he was calling the guy drunk because of elderberry wine.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So, yeah,
That
but at
makes
least
more
my mom's
sense.
not a new.
I'm like, there are much stinkier berries out there that you could call somebody. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, because most of them you don't eat. They're usually for like ink or something.
Yeah, but like the thing about it is like it's British humor, so.
But it was French.
Like, it's British humor. It's British portraying the French.
Yeah. What's up, Abigail? I'm gonna say Abigail and
can you hear
Abby
me?
just to differentiate for myself.
That makes sense. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can. Okay. I am using a new device. I was curious to see
I
if
Yeah,
heard
that
you
sounds
twice.
good.
Woohoo.
Still didn't work.
Abigail and Abby.
Oh, fart knocker.
So we've got
Hello.
let's see how many people sharing tonight so far. I know Ian always shares, correct, Ian?
Yep, I got another chapter.
Carrie, are you
Yay.
sharing anything?
No.
Okay. Abby, how about you?
I may,
Okay.
but I'm kind of in the middle of a project that would take a lot of explaining, so I'm not sure.
Okay. So we will see. potential for Abby. And Abigail.
Well, I have a project that needs a lot of explaining, and I was touching on it in the chat the other day. But I might talk about that if I have time.
Yeah. We should have time.
It would be a lot.
Yeah. Still, I'd be into it. Besides that, we have myself, Brendan, and Joel from Beyond the Call. Brendan's working late, and Joel, I believe, has D&D. But Joel always gives good feedback, and Brendan tries as well. Brendan might be on late, depending on how his retail craziness goes, so be in prayer for that. But he asked if I would just go ahead and read that when we get to it. Do we have any thoughts on who would rather be toward the beginning versus the end? Obviously, it's more fun to be toward the beginning in general, but like anyone can have thoughts.
I vote for Ian going first.
But then he'll leave. I'm just kidding, Ian. It's okay if you do, and it's okay if you don't.
Okay, I can share first.
Okay, sounds good to me. Do you have video, Ian, or no?
I have video. I can do video. I just haven't.
It's only if you want to. I only asked just because nobody had video but me, and so I was like, this is going to be visually boring.
I didn't want to torture the world with my...
Didn't want to cause anyone to fall into sin.
Too many women out there swooning.
Oh, gosh.
Ridiculous. Oh, boy.
Hold it together, ladies. There's only one of me. Goodness, there's only one.
Why do people low ride their trucks?
Good question. Unclear.
So random.
Somebody just passed me in a low ride their truck, and I just want to like drive over the median and ram into them.
At least we got the song "Lowrider" by I think it's the band War. Bum bum bum
Yeah,
bum
War.
bum 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 bum. That's a good song.
Yeah, but that's not a low rided truck. That's a low rided car. There's a difference.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, go
A
ahead,
truck is
Ian. You've got the
huge.
floor.
Raise a sword right through the cosmos. Name the star where no sane man walked before. Oh, the ink is still on fire. It will burn forevermore.
Now sharing Ian Wilson.
You got the floor. Chapter did I leave off on?
Chapter 3.
Look at that, Abby knows.
Thank you. Why did she remember that? Anyway,
Yes, I like
Chapter
this
4.
story.
It's your stunning good looks, of course. Joke. Anyway. Anyway. Oh, he froze. Oh, there he goes. Okay. I think. Is he there? Okay, there we are. Now you're back.
Okay. Chapter 4. Eddie's Long Day. The presence of something huge, black, and utterly malevolent hung over Eddie's bed, waiting to pounce on the helpless boy. Despite its massive bulk, it was able to ascend the walls and ceilings like a regular-sized spider. Its 8 ink-black eyes stared down at him hungrily. It crawled slowly down the wall over Eddie's bed. Eddie lay paralyzed with terror at the sight of the creature. Never before had an arachnoid appeared in his own bedroom. He immediately reached for the heart. The spider let out a hiss. Eddie awoke with a gasp, cold beads of sweat on his brow. In his hand he clutched the heart. Was it truly a dream? Fred casually walked up to the bed, cats are rarely in a hurry to do anything, and gently touched the boy's face. Eddie patted the cat. It was daybreak. Eddie decided rather than lay in bed, he would get dressed and ready for his day. His father at this time of day was out in the backyard practicing his swordcraft. Dr. Small believed that the fighting arts were among the best possible physical training. Though he was not required to, Eddie often joined his father during his morning exercises. He did so this morning. After donning his face shield, he cried, "On guard!" Andrew turned to face his son, and the two commenced to a duel. Fred watched the two fight with reasonable interest. He found the humans' habit of poking at each other with sticks unusual and entertaining at times, but today he had a more important errand. Wove? I think it's wove. Never mind. Through the gap in the fence with considerable grace for a cat of his size, and trotted further into the neighborhood, pausing only briefly to have a word with some of the local cats and a raccoon whom Fred referred to as Ralph due to being unable to pronounce his real name. The poor fools lacked the intellect to understand the urgency of Fred's mission, and so he passed on toward the river, where he found an old van which had been converted to a mobile home by its occupant. A man with a thick white beard and tattered clothes sat outside smoking a pipe. After standard greetings, Fred related to the old man all that had transpired in the previous 24 hours, leaving out no detail. The elder thanked Fred for his help and offered him a bit of broiled fish for his trouble. He then ordered Fred to return to his post and report back if anything new developed. Fred did just that. Fred returned just about the time Edith called the men in for breakfast. The family sat down around the oval table to enjoy the scrambled eggs, sausage, toast, and other delights that Edith had prepared for them. Eddie, however, was strangely quiet and thoughtful. "You haven't said much, Eddie," said Edith. "I was just thinking," said Eddie. "About what?" asked Andrew. "About the dream I had last night," Eddie responded. "Spiders again?" asked Edith. Eddie nodded. "It was in my room this time." The couple looked at one another. Edith gestured to her husband. Andrew adjusted his glasses and said, "How about you come to work with me today?" "To the university?" asked Eddie. "Yes, I mean, why do you want to bring me to work?" "I want to take you to the entomology department," said Andrew. "I think it would help you get over your fear of spiders if you spoke with Dr. Moses." Eddie swallowed hard. "You mean..." "It's called exposure therapy," said Edith. "I think it would do you good." Andrew left the psychological area of parenting largely to his wife, who specialized in that field in college. Andrew, finding the human mind too complicated to contemplate, turned his attention to the stars. The motions of stars and planets were logical and easy to explain with mathematics, unlike the human mind, particularly Edith's mind, so far as Andrew was concerned. She was an enigma, even after several years of marriage. "Maybe you're right," said Eddie, although he didn't believe it. While he genuinely enjoyed going to the university, to Eddie this almost felt like coercion, which he did not appreciate. Now, if his father had asked him to come to the university without any ulterior motives, Eddie would have gladly gone, but he had lost all desire. He determined that no matter what happened, he would not have a good time. "They are quite harmless," said Dr. Moses as he held the large brown spider in his palm. The creature crawled slowly and carefully around his hand. "I call her Gladys." Eddie shuddered as he looked at the repugnant creature in the professor's hand. "Would you like to hold her?" asked Dr. Moses. "I'd rather get tetanus," said Eddie. "Eddie," grumbled Dr. Small. "It's quite all right, Andy," said Dr. Moses. "Not many people are lining up to hold Gladys, as you can see, but she and I get along rather well." Dr. Moses smiled down at the creature, like a proud parent holding a child. How anyone could look at such a creature like that made Eddie's stomach churn. The boy's attention wandered as Dr. Moses began describing the life and habits of the tarantula and various other spiders. The room was decorated with photos of Dr. Moses holding insects in exotic locations, as well as the insects themselves, preserved and pinned on boards. The rest of the room was lined with terrariums holding Dr. Moses' living specimens. His skin crawled. All he could think of was the dripping fangs of that monstrous black thing that had invaded his dreams. He determined, however, not to take his eyes off the creeping, crawling creature in Dr. Moses' hand. His parents had taught him that the best way to defeat fear was to look it straight in the eye and not look away, or flinch. Thus he stared at the tarantula. Once Dr. Moses had finished his lecture on the lives and habits of various spiders, the two Smalls left the office and headed down the hallway and across the quad. "Now that wasn't so bad, was it?" asked Andrew. "No, I guess not," replied Eddie. He wanted to believe that his mother was right and his exposure therapy would work, but he had his doubts. Part of him believed Azariah's story about the spiders being from another world. "Andy!" called a voice from their left. It was Professor Stevenson, his wild hair and beard blowing in the breeze, a crazed smile on his face, like a mad scientist about to kill the hero in a thriller movie. "Stevenson?" asked Andrew. They paused. The professor was clothed in a rumpled brown suit that looked like it hadn't been washed or pressed in some time. "Tonight," said the astrophysicist. "It happens tonight, my final experiment." Andrew rolled his eyes. "Mark, you've had about 4 final experiments so far. What makes you think this is the final one?" "I nearly did it last time. I was so close." He held his thumb and index finger about a centimeter apart. "Just one more time, and I'll have it. The secret of dark matter. The secrets of the universe will be mine." "Mark, how long has it been since you bathed?" "That's not important now," said Stephen. Wait, who left?
Just Gary. He'll
I
be
guess it
back,
was
I'm
Gary.
sure. He probably just dropped
Okay.
off.
"I want you to be there tonight. I'll even put your name in the research paper as a co-author. Think of it. Dark matter into the light." Andrew paused. "I have plans tonight." "Don't dismiss this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Andrew." "Mark, you deserve your name on the byline. You've done all the work." Sorry, I made a huge typo here. Had to fix that. "All I've done is helped you tweak your math." "Very well," Stevenson relented. "Your contributions will not be forgotten," he called after the Smalls as they walked away toward Andrew's car. "I want ice cream," said Dr. Small. "How about you?" "I could go for a cone," said Eddie with a smile. The two then drove to the nearest ice cream parlor and bought some cones to celebrate a successful confrontation with Eddie's deepest fear. The flat, squarish stone skipped several times before sinking into the river. Do you think it worked?" asked Bucky as he flung another flat stone at the water. "I don't know yet," replied Eddie. "I guess we'll find out tonight." "You know what I think?" said Bucky. "No, but I bet you're going to tell me," replied Eddie. "I think Mr. Azariah was right," said Bucky. Eddie thought for a moment. The thought seemed far-fetched, but what was more far-fetched? An old man who guessed that Eddie had seen giant spiders in his dreams? Or did he, by some means that Eddie didn't understand, know all about Eddie and his dreams? Eddie had the impression that Azariah knew far more than he was letting on, that the man had seen things so strange and wonderful that Eddie had no way of imagining them. He also believed that Azariah was far more powerful than he appeared. There seemed to be something big about him. The flesh and clothes that they saw were just a covering or veil for a being of immense wisdom and power. His thoughts were once again interrupted by the gruff voice of Thorwald Van Horn. The great brute thrashed through the undergrowth toward the two boys. Eddie and Bucky backed away. and were about to make a break for it before they realized that Van Horn had not come alone. His two cronies had cut off their escape route. "No one's here to save you," the bully said with a malevolent grin. "You're mine now." "Stay back, Thorwald," commanded Eddie. "Or what?" sneered Thorwald. "I'm warning you." Eddie put up his fists. Eddie and Andrew had mostly trained with weapons, but they had done some hand-to-hand techniques together, and while Eddie wasn't particularly good at them, he never backed down from a fight. The two minions charged in, grabbing Bucky in a full Nelson, while the other... That sentence was badly written. While the other repeatedly punched him. "Hand it over, or the beatings continue," growled Thorwald. "Don't do it, Eddie," said Bucky, groggily before the other bully punched him in the face again. Eddie spun around and roundhouse kicked the minion in the ribs just like Chuck Norris would do. The bully cursed. Turning his attention to Eddie, he came around with a wide hook punch which Eddie saw from a mile away. Ducking the strike, Eddie came up with an uppercut that went right into his opponent's ribs. The bully fell to the ground, coughing and sputtering. Eddie thought with satisfaction that he must have broken a rib. Grabbing Eddie by the shirt, Thorwald dragged him back. The next thing Eddie felt was his back hitting the forest floor, and Thorwald's boot hitting him repeatedly. There was a brief sting as the string holding the heart around his neck broke, followed by Thorwald's villainous snicker as he walked away. The two boys lay in the dirt for several minutes. Regaining their breath. The sun began to set. It would be getting dark soon. Finally, Eddie gasped out the words. "He took it." "I know," sighed Bucky. "What do we do?" "Get it back." End of chapter 4.
Very nice. I had 3 short things. One, it is weaved when it comes to movement. It is wove when it comes to clothing or baskets or that sort of a thing. I just looked that up for you while we were doing it. So it is weaved for your case. One word stuck out to me in a weird way, and that was Eddie's father. I believe it was Eddie's father being married to his wife for several years, I think was the word you used.
Yes.
A specific word, a specific number, or even many might make it more. It may maybe feel more real. I don't know. There's just something about that word that stuck out to me as not right for that spot. Several to me is like maybe 6, several years. I've been married several years. I don't think it's like a lot to me, but that might be a cultural thing. I don't know.
I think that's a cultural thing because to my mind, many years is like 30. Okay. My parents have been married many years.
Yeah.
Several years is like 10 to 15.
So actually throwing a number out there might be a good thing. Just for getting it across properly to people. But you do what you want on that. It's not a huge thing. It was just something that stuck out. And then the last thing, darn it, can't remember right off the top of my head. If I think of it, I'll bring it up. You guys can give further feedback. I need to hit the I need to go take care of something really quick, and then I will be right back, if that's all right. Hi, Brendan, by the way. Glad you could make it. And it was the first read, so y'all talk.
Who was the first read?
Ian. So
Ian, okay.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
I apologize, Ian. I have nothing of value to offer because I came in part way through on the end and then froze because my internet was overloaded, so I didn't hear anything you said.
Well, most of that chapter has remained unchanged from my previous draft.
Mm-hmm.
I just added like 3 things and changed some wording around. That was it. So there wasn't. You can go back when the episode goes live. You can go back and listen to it and give me your opinion then.
Sure.
But yeah, this chapter didn't take a whole lot of work. I just had to add in that thing with Dr. Stevenson losing his mind because I could. Any other feedback?
So the several thing kind of stood out to me as well. I wouldn't say many though, maybe like more than a decade or something. I really like the characters so far, like good job of dialogue and stuff like that.
Thank you.
I didn't realize at first it had gone to a new scene when he was talking to Bucky, but I figure on the actual document you have that formatted in.
On the document, yeah, it's hard with audio because there's little formatting things. I actually put a horizontal break in there that you can see clearly in the document. But
I kind of figured there was one last thing that made me it irritated me. TBH, because my character fights bullies and does a karate kick, which would have made Chuck Norris proud. And I wrote this like 5 years ago.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it in there.
Don't change it. I was trying to get my camera to work. If my camera had been on, you would have seen me throw a paintbrush across my desk. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good chapter. Funny. I like that you can see something is up with Stevens, but at this point, unless you have spoilers, you don't know what it is. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't spoil anything. Well, later in the book, something really terrible happens to Steven. And Stevenson,
I remember what happens, but from the chat, was it that paragraph or what?
Oh, right. Yeah, you did. You read that. Yes.
But I meant to a reader, it would be intriguing without giving anything away. So it's good.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, I guess that's all I have to say.
What are we supposed to do until he comes back?
Well, does Abigail have anything? This Abigail thing is really going to take some getting used to. Because at work, everybody's Abigail.
It's fun. It's a good like Christian homeschooler name.
Sorry, that took me a minute, guys.
Back.
I am. Anything fun? I didn't have the earbud in this time.
Abby was just filling me in on some feedback.
Gotcha. Continue if there is any more.
We had just finished. We were deciding what to do till you came back.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that works out. Any other feedback from Abigail or anyone else? Probably not. Well, okay. Joel will probably have his, obviously, and we can go from there. So Abby, Abigail, Brendan is sharing. Do you still want me to read? I can read. I don't mind. Just either way.
I kind of want you to read, mostly because I want to see what you do with it. If you have looked at it at all.
No, I haven't, but
well,
like
whatever.
I haven't had any time whatsoever, man. Poor Joel tonight. He sent his thing. He sent his thing, and I didn't realize it until like right as we were starting Broodcast, and I was getting links from the people who were out. Like, he didn't attach it or blanket or anything. To text him about his. Thankfully, we got it, but like.
All right. Well, I can do it then to take something off of your plate. That's fine.
Thank you, man.
I could do it. But yeah. You and Abby with an I have heard this already, so it would just be for mostly Ian and Abby with a Y. But if I were to go next, but whatever pleases the crown.
Well, yeah, I don't have a problem with that if Abby with an I doesn't. Abby, I'm just saying Abigail.
But you see, I like to make things complicated.
Right.
For no reason.
That's fine. Just telling you what I'm doing.
Fitz.
Abby, do you want to go do your thing, or you were deciding if you were going to or not? Otherwise, Brendan can go next. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm trying to decide because the project I'm trying to focus on is book 4 in my series. But I don't know if I feel like giving like a prologue compressed version of the first 3 books or not.
Gotcha.
If Brendan wants to go ahead, that sounds cool.
Okay, we can do that, and then like I said, I just have me and Joel, and Abigail said she was gonna be sharing because she had something specific that she wanted to pick our brains on, like she usually does. So anyway, go ahead, Brendan.
Now sharing Brendan Sunshine.
All right, this is another short flash fiction. It's in the same universe as the story with Vartan and the story with the Mushroom People. This is the introduction to one of the factions called, well, I still need to work on the title, but the current working title is the Umbral Forces of Trag. So I will just start right off the way.
Yeah, you showed me those guys.
You have my full attention.
Oh, yay. Yeah. Okay. Death was not the end. Caltifas stared out over the wheat fields, scanning for movement. The road to the fort had been blockaded, and the catapults launched at anything that approached them. As such, the Iconian forces had formed up and sent a contingent around, attempting to approach from the visual cover of the wheat, just as expected. The wind blew through the field at irregular intervals, but he didn't care. There had been a debate of giving him more troops, but ultimately the aristocrats had opted to give him hounds as the mobile unit. Any extra would have been a waste, according to them. I need to scroll up. Hold on.
Casey says hi.
Boop. Any extra would have been a waste, according to them. The rest were going to go and flank the Iconians and strike like a hammer against the anvil of the fortress. Caltifas was not concerned about his lack of troops. The field provided visual cover, which was more than enough for what he needed. He did have the scarecrows, after all. Some of the stalks waved against the breeze. The enemy approached. Good. Caltifas pointed silently. As he did, he heard the howl of what sounded like a wolf, then another. The hounds were released, and they dashed into the field, hunting the enemy. The sound on the wind tumbled, turning discordant, and suddenly there was baying that sounded like a mixture of wolf and hyena. Men started shouting in alarm. Some screamed in pain. Another shouted in confusion. The cacophony went on, as Caltifas knew it would. He had seen the hit-and-run tactics of the hounds before. He knew their instinct to dive onto wounded prey, to rip out the throat and run. He also knew that the men would learn and adapt. It was all so incredibly predictable. and the men's cries of alarm became shouts of order. Then a scarecrow dropped. It didn't leap off, it just fell with a muffled thump, and all sound stopped. The hounds knew what was coming. They went quiet and pulled away. The men didn't. Suddenly, a scream from somewhere that was abruptly cut off. More silence. A crow flew over, cawing madly. Chaos erupted. A shout turning into a shriek of fear. The hounds took this cue and attacked again, their awful wrong sounds adding to the cacophony. The demonic scarecrows shuddering deep shriek as they cut apart men and consumed their life. All these sounds reached Caltifas. Somewhere in his memory, something stirred. A kernel of a feeling. At one point, he would have found this disturbing, the tactic dishonorable, but now he didn't care. One of the scouts broke through the field. In a fit of adrenaline-filled madness, he charged Caltifas up the hill. Moving swiftly, the scout threw one of his daggers to force a reaction, though it bounced harmlessly off Caltifas's heavy armor. The scout slid around and tried to go for a killing blow, doing a jumping plunge to slide a knife expertly between the plates of the neck. Caltifas caught him with one hand and just looked at him. The man had a look of confused horror as his knife, which was in the right spot, touched nothing. No resistance. He groped for Caltifas's helmet and pulled it off, revealing his bare bone face. The man stared horrified at the Draugr war chief before him, before turning his face into a snarl of contempt. He pulled his arm back and deftly tried to plunge the blade into Caltifas's eye, but that hand was caught, stopping the blade in the air inches from the bone face. Inside the Draugr, a memory of a feeling stirred. What was it? Admiration? Acknowledgement? This one had will, or something that was a noble thing when this body had flesh. This scout was a good soldier. With inhuman strength, Caltifas wrenched the blade from the man and drove it into his neck, right where the scout had attempted to strike the first time. The light faded from his eyes, and Caltifas dropped him there on the earth. Bravery. Yes, that was it. This one was brave. Raising his hand, Caltifas pulled blue fire from the field. The remaining pieces of the Iconian souls that left flew to his hand, gathering into a soft light, flickering like flame, but cold and hollow. He dropped it on the corpse, and the fire washed over it, burning, but not fully consuming. The fire pulled from below, and Caltifas sensed the same power that was in him begin to awaken. The man's eyes opened, once brown, now a glowing, burning, and piercing light blue. Caltifas looked down at his new tool. Death was not his end. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Undead.
Very nice.
That was cool.
I love it. I don't have any real useful feedback to give you other than I love it.
I'm glad you like it. Hey, I love it. It's good payback. It needs a little bit of tweaking here and there. Some grammatical like things that I was switching on the fly because I'm like, that's not the right tense.
Yeah.
The trying to figure out what the admirable part of the scout was. I liked that it made it made the action feel more detached, like it usually does when you're in the heat of battle. You know, that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from folks?
No, it was just very cool sounding, and I only heard like the second half, but what I heard was cool.
Yay.
Gotcha.
I told you what I thought last time.
You did.
So cool.
Yay. Ian?
I did like your use of language there to make it more visceral, and the introspection was nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of work going on in here. That like I've done so much world building. Oh, I've done so much world building.
I know you've been doing world building on this story for as long as I have known you.
Yeah. For this world, The thing is that like one of the things that I'm running into is that like I know all of the mechanics of what's going on and why certain things happen, but I don't want to explain it to people. I need to figure out how to get them to figure it out on their own. Because I don't like, okay, you have an undead faction. Well, what do you do when you raise a dead body? It's not bringing them back to life, right? They're still dead. So what's animating it? Is it like a fungus puppeteering them? Well, no. It's in this case, it's not a fungus. Is it a virus that has like somehow given them new life, Resident Evil style? Well, no, it can't be that either. So what's the thing? Like, how does it work? Okay, well, we know it's magic, but like, what do you do? So there's all this like stuff of like, how does the magic work and where things are going, and there's all sorts of like details that like you're going to end up with unreliable narrators because in all of the stories, because no one aside from me knows how the magic works, right? Everyone thinks it works differently. And so it's, anyway.
That is a tough.
So there's like all kinds of little things in here that I'm like, I feel on one hand as a world builder, I feel bad putting this in there, but on the other hand, as a storyteller, I'm like, this is the right thing to do. Yeah. And it will. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, we're enjoying it, man. We're enjoying hearing these. So
3 down, 6 to go.
Hey, that's fun. Abigail, do you want to bring up your story thing and let us help pick brains?
Ew.
You know what I mean. What's up, Carrie? He's back.
I don't have any zombies in this one.
Good.
Would you like some?
Would you like some? That was funny.
Not this time.
Okay, fine. I won't share.
No. I want to hear your thing. Well.
Oh, I meant I'm not giving you any of my zombies.
Oh, you want to give me some? Well, there might be some nasty creatures. Okay. I haven't really. Oh, let me see if I can turn on the camera. I don't. Like I said, I'm using a new device. Let's see if the camera's horrible. Yeah, there I am.
No one can say it's a fairy tale. The king's been dead for days, but you've taken back the crown. All they can say is they knew you well, and you burned their homes away, and you watched them fall down. Fairy tale, gone epic now.
Now sharing Abigail Falonga.
Hello.
Hello.
Of course, it's really dark, but you know.
That sounds good.
I can't see you.
Darkness for dark purposes. Okay, so I'm working on a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it is so complicated I can't explain it all right now. So, I think I have it almost completely worked out in my head. I just, I don't even know where to start. Okay, so part of it is that the Beauty and the Beast section will be like the first half to 2/3 of the book.
Okay.
It has the princess. I mean, she's the Belle character. She happens to be a princess, but that's kind of beside the point. She's engaged to the guy who becomes the Beast. She doesn't realize he becomes the Beast, but she knows something's going on in his castle, so she goes off to check it out. And I'm still trying to figure out like how exactly the castle is enchanted, because I have written out part of it, but I'm not totally satisfied with how it is in that one, because it's like the castle is cut off from everywhere around it by this impenetrable wall of ice, which is pretty cool, but I'm not thrilled with it because it doesn't really tie in with the other themes and other stuff that's going on in the story. So should I change that? And if I do, then, you know, what should I do with it? And also I want the princess character. Okay. Her name is Jasmine. So I want Jasmine to do something or other, because she's engaged to the guy who becomes the beast. I want her to do something or other that will allow her to enter the castle. And I think it's that, which is like, she's allowed. She has the authority to do the thing, but the thing has to be something that's really taboo. And a bad guy gets a hold of evidence of that thing. But it has to be something that would allow her entrance into this enchanted castle, which is either blocked off by a wall of ice or something else. And I should mention there are basilisks. So it could be like a wall of stone or a poisonous stone wall or something like that. That would be kind of an interesting way of tying some things together. So yeah, lots more going on. Does anybody have ideas?
Yeah. One of the first things that comes to mind is when you talk poison wall kind of a thing. What I'm thinking thorns. I know we're doing Sleeping Beauty at that point, but like that's that sort of a thing. You get the thorns, right? A big, crazy, ridiculous stone briar, you know, kind of a thing that has poison tips and all that other kind of stuff. Sounds pretty cool. But obviously might or might not work with your current situation. What are some of the themes that you really want to pull from that could be reflected in this barrier?
Okay, so one of the themes, one of the interesting things about this concept is that after the beast is disenchanted and becomes human again, there's a threat of an invading army, and they have to fight it off. And the beast himself, who's been distracted from the former beast, he's been distracted from his duties. Even after being disenchanted, he still has problems. But so when the army's invading, and he's like, okay, I know what to do, and he calls upon other beastly creatures in the neighborhood. So one of the themes is not letting go of your sin, which is part of it, but also the through the whole story, there's a lot of the idea of sanctification and reconciliation and building trust between Jasmine and him, and building their relationship, because they have clearly a lot of damage going on.
Right.
So that's the themes.
Would that work with thorns? Because to me, thorns, like sin, that's pretty obvious, personally.
True.
So, you know, I don't know what other ideas I could think of, but that just immediately comes to mind. Other people can chime in whenever. I'm just kind of riffing. Go ahead.
Oh, I was thinking roses, because of the original Beauty and the Beast story. I thought roses would be cool.
Yeah.
And that could tie in with the thorns.
Yep.
I thought how she could get in. Maybe there's like a little song or something that will make the thorns move out of her way. And it's written down on a piece of paper that is stashed in somebody's desk, and she steals that.
That could do. As far as that goes, is there, you know, this is pulling from some deep Disney Beauty and the Beast lore, but is there some sort of music related character going to the Christmas special with Tim Curry organ?
I never watched that.
So if there's a music person, you could that could be a thing that you're pulling on and working around and working through. Hello, Stephen. Good to have you here. I believe Stephen, right, Vanalier? If I remember correctly. Yep. Yeah, I can't hear you, Stephen. I briefly heard you, and then I just didn't. So I don't know. Anyway, all right. So, other thoughts for Abby? I'm liking where this is going in general.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused about what you mean by like a musical character.
I mean, someone
Like-
who's a court musician or court. You've got in various, not just Beauty and the Beast, the Enchanted Christmas, but like the Swan Princess, and you got Sebastian and the Little Mermaid. It's sort of a Disney thing in Disney adjacent thing that in some of these movies and things, you have a character who's like the court conductor, musician, music writer person. And I'm just saying a character of that sort of role, especially who might have the secret to getting through the briars, like there's a lot you can do with that, and so as far as a character goes, I know that's an immediate prompt for a character that I could just like make something really cool. And maybe he's like part of the reason that the invading army is coming, because he's playing both sides of things. And he's this Weasley little guy, whatever, like who, you could have all kinds of things like that. He could, if you had an enchantress, you could, which I don't know if you do or not, but if you had the enchantress,
I do have an enchantress.
Maybe he worships the enchantress, and that's kind of the whole point, is he wants the enchantress to take over everything, and he that's his goddess and whatever else. And so you can make him this Weasley character who's trying to usurp and overthrow and all that other kind of stuff. Not saying you need it, obviously it's your story, but I immediately think of, well, okay, if it's a musical key to go through and she's stealing it from somebody, you need somebody who's going to actually like want to press charges, even though he doesn't have ground to stand on. Therefore, even if it's not music guy, obviously you can do something else. But I also think of just the archetype of the guy who's in Mulan, who is like the guy who's auditing the army under Li Shang. He says stuff. He says all the misogynistic stuff about women when he's coming through town and getting all the men, whatever. And he's just this Weasley character, right? Like that's just what I see initially with this whole thing. Might totally not fit your story, but just that's where my mind goes.
I think I could do something with that. Maybe not a specifically musical thing.
Right.
I'll have to do a bit of research, because the whole theme of this series is like plant-based magic, and I don't know if there's any folklore about like what folklore is associated with jasmine flowers.
Welcome,
or
Jesse,
jasmine.
by the way.
So I'll have to do some research and see if that would work.
Nice mask. Very cool.
Anybody else?
Jesse,
Phantom of the Opera is here.
inside your mind.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, anyone else want to give any other thoughts to Abigail on this one? Abigail, do you have anything you want to ask further questions on with this one?
Not now. This is pretty good. I can work with this.
Sweet. Also, TK, obviously, like the queen of plant magic ideas. So
That's true. I should talk to her.
Contacting her directly would probably be a good idea.
Okay.
So
I think I should probably go now, though. So
okay. Well, thanks for being here.
I'll catch up later.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right, fellas.
See you, Abigail. You heading out? You tuning in?
Yeah, I'm gone.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Bye.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. We've got. Are you sharing, Jesse and or Steven?
I mean, not me.
He's sharing right now. Look at that.
Yeah, this is sort of. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me on this?
Yes, I can
Only
now,
through
but
my mic.
I'm only hearing through his mic. Because now I know why.
So there's no echo.
I had muted
y'all
you.
muted me.
No, I
had
actually can
muted
hear
you
out
on
of both.
That's
I
why.
can hear out of both of you.
Yeah,
So you should mute me, probably.
yeah, I muted you on my end so that I wouldn't have that issue. That's why I wasn't hearing you earlier. So,
Or you can get Jesse. That's what I try to do.
Any which way. All right. So, as far as that goes, yeah, I have mine. And what else am I reading? Joel. And then Abby, did you decide you didn't want to share because it's just too much?
That's a good question.
Still deciding, or
I'll just go with no for now.
Okay.
Because I want to read this piece. It's just really out of context.
Okay. Well, if you change your mind, just let me know, but I'm going to operate on the no principle for right now. Feel free to change at any point. So that leaves me and Joel. So I read Joel last time and didn't get a chance to read mine because people were busy and dropping off pretty quick. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and read mine and move Joel's to the end just for this time. We haven't done him at the end in a while. Jesse, you don't have anything else you're sharing specifically, like media or story-wise? No?
No, I might talk about this in a little while whenever there's an opening.
Yeah, totally. But we'll go ahead and do World of Wrestling, if you guys are cool with that.
And said no change shall sully me, thou soul of love and bravery. Thy songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery.
Now sharing, Joshua David Ling.
We have, I believe, 3 poems left in this episode. Just to catch people up, basically, there's been a concerted effort by William Rothschild to mess with not only Jessica now, but Joshua as well. He's the general manager, and he has been essentially hiding behind, there was a mistake in the run sheet, all that other kind of stuff. And half the board believes him, half the board doesn't. And they are trying to deal with all kinds of little things. And the last one I just read, a couple broodcasts ago, Joshua lost a match because of a quick count from a referee. It was a little bit too quick. And it's getting really, really subtle and really, really mean and could really hurt their careers. So I'm just going to go from there. They're at a point in their relationship where they're purely professional, but she's kind of just treating him as a protege. She's helping him along the way, and they're just trying to figure out this part of their journey together, get past being specifically put down by the man. That's where they're at. So number 7, frustration fuels the fire. Frustration linked Josh and Jess. They both had steam to let off. They started training together every day, working together to stop the madness in Will Rothschild's heart and his abusive ways. Then maybe one day they could get past this, and their lives would turn a page. In a practice ring nearby, their tour stop in Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, NC, or North Carolina? NC. In Charlotte, NC, Joshua whipped Jessica into the ropes, and she ducked a clothesline with her speed. She came off the ropes with a Thez press, puffing with exertion and power. She landed atop Josh, pushing him to ground, and stared at his eyes for what felt like an hour. Let's see. In reality, the state only lasted a few seconds, then both got up and blushed. Joshua seemed to ignore the moment, though Jessica felt a little crushed. I think I know a way to get back at Will. Are we done training for today? Maybe we could grab some food and talk about it on the way. You figured out a way out of this mess? Then I, sir, am all ears. I've been trying to figure this out for a little over a year. The two grabbed their things and headed off to conspire, anger and frustration still fueling their fire. Number 8, Weasel Words. William Rothschild stapled some papers and went on his merry way, about his daily duties and chores and having a wonderful day. That is, of course, until Jessica entered his office unannounced. "Have you no manners whatsoever?" "Not even an ounce. Look, I've been hearing this rumor going around that there's a price on my head. I can't help but feel hunted." Wonder what started that thread. "Look, you can't keep being paranoid. It annoys the heck out of me. If you want to go work somewhere else, there's plenty of places to be." Jessica frowned and shifted her weight. She leaned down on William's desk. "Listen to me, Jessica. You are a little pest. You come into my office without knocking and lay your paranoia on me. What is it exactly you want me to do? Seriously, it's like talking to a tree." "I'm just concerned for my own safety. People say there's a hit out on me." "That's because there is, Jessica. So get out while you can breathe." Jessica sighed and shook her head and marched out right away. But William had just put the nail in his coffin. She had won the war this day. Jessica's music, and then number 9, the rib. Jessica's music hit, and she and Josh came out to the ring. By the way, a rib in carny wrestling talk means like a practical joke. Jessica's music hit, and she and Josh came out to the ring, and all the crowd cheered for them. A smile to her face they did bring. But that smile was short-lived as she grabbed the microphone, and the crowd then grew so very quiet she felt like they were alone. "I asked for this time to address you all, tonight right here on this stage. A lot has been going on in my life. You would be amazed. Not only am I training the big dog here, I am wrestling as best as I can, and I am being targeted, and I don't know by who, fans." The crowd jeered loudly and booed this revelation. Please, people, understand my investigation is still ongoing at this moment, but I fear for how it will end." Just then, 3 wrestlers came around the bend. Ricky Serpiente and a tag team, Padre Ejia by name, that means father and daughter, dove into the ring from 3 different sides, looking to injure and maim. The 3 attacked Joshua first, knocking him to the floor. Then they all turned to attack Jessica with evil intentions in store. But suddenly, music hit the speakers, and the Atlantics came out mad. "Back off, you cockroaches!" This is Lil Mac speaking. We have that sweet bounty in the bag." Just then, another song hit the speakers, and out came Tony LaRue. He clotheslined both the Atlantics before they knew what to do. He angrily grabbed Lil Mac's mic and screamed a single name. "William Rothschild, get out here! You think this is some game? You promised me the bounty for her and for her little dog, too." William sheepishly came into the arena, and the crowd wildly booed. William looked and surveyed the scene. It was obvious he knew he was caught. "Look, I just want them to get out of my company, so I'll pay double for the lot. Attack! Get them out of here! I'm done with this crap!" Then another person came from the back. His music began like the constant beat of a hammer hitting a nail. It had been so long since the crowd heard that music, but their recognition did not fail. Hammerin' Hank McClanahan stepped out into view, the president of the board of directors and WWL's founder, too. Hank looked sternly at Will, and all the attackers backed away. Hank raised a mic to his lips. "Will's fired, effective immediately today." Hold on. I lost my place. "Effective today." The crowd cheered loudly and began to sing, jeering him on his way, with na-na-nas, a few goodbyes, and a couple of hey-hays. Joshua got back in the ring and shook the luchador's hands, and everybody realized all along they'd been in on the plan. Ricky Serpiente and Padre Ejia were trying to draw the truth out, upsetting those conspiring in secret and exposing what they were about. Joshua and Jessica hugged in the ring, and the crowd cheered them on, and Jessica felt like this night was her career's new dawn. There's only one more in this episode, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it real quick, if that's all right. Number 10, Somewhere. At a downtown house of waffles, Joshua and Jessica sat. on 2 bar stools next to each other, eating and enjoying a chat. The evening had been very successful, and they celebrated the night that marked a turning point in their careers and put William Rothschild to flight. They'd been talking for over an hour about various things, ranging from the boring and mundane to old exploits in the ring. But Jessica then put her hand on Joshua's and looked him in the eyes. He did not instantly pull away, but stared at her in surprise. I know you like to sleep in that van, and I know that's how you like it, but I insist on reserving split suites. You simply have to try it. And if I'm going to mentor you and make you all that you can be, you need to live a more accommodating lifestyle, even if it's not luxury. Joshua thought for a moment and looked down to think. He stared at the floor for a long moment, and he didn't even blink. At once, his bowed low head bobbed up, and he smiled as he replied, "Thank you, Jessica. I will accept." Jessica almost cried. "That is awesome. I'll reserve a split suite for us tonight. In fact, I'll do it on my phone while we drive back, all right? But you drove us here in your car." "You can drive it. That's fine. As long as I'm in the front seat. I will not ever mind." Jessica went to type on her phone as they paid their bill and left. Joshua seemed to be very nervous, but she didn't know why yet. It couldn't have been about the suite. He was okay with that. They got in the car and buckled their seatbelts, and she thought that was that. They got to the edge of the parking lot, and she turned the radio on, and as soon as she did, it played a very old, well-known song. Joshua slammed on the brakes of the car and immediately put it in park. He got out of the car and paced nervously, stumbling in the dark. Not again, not again," he muttered to himself as thoughts struggled to escape his mind. Jessica approached him cautiously and said in a voice that was kind, "You've driven me in your van before. You've driven with me by your side. But the last I'd driven a small car with someone was the night that Anne..." Jessica's eyes began to well up. "Okay, I'll drive instead." They switched seats and Jessica drove to save Joshua the dread. Their future was shaky at the very best, but they both had a chance now to show any new suits at the WWL how many crowds they could wow. So that's the end of that episode.
Yeah.
Feedback, thoughts, if any.
Oh, shoot. I should have muted myself. I'm sorry.
Do what? Oh, you should have
I
muted
should have
yourself.
muted myself. I apologize. So, it's part of the nature of the medium, so I don't think there's anything you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have dragged. But I didn't like this one as much as the others.
Mm-hmm.
I think you needed to drag out the final confrontation more.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it might
when
need
William Rothschild gets called out, he just too willingly goes out. That didn't seem right to me.
Mm-hmm.
He said he sheepishly came out. General manager of a bunch of wrestlers doing something sheepishly in a bravado-based system?
Mm-hmm.
No. Sorry, that doesn't jive.
What I was trying for, I don't think it came across because obviously you didn't get it. But what I was trying for was basically of almost a dozen of his wrestlers are all fighting uncontrollably in the ring. I need to mention that security got in on it. I didn't mention that. And basically, like, he's completely out of control and it's all on him. He's coming out sheepishly because, like, they just revealed that he's after her and everything is, like, insane and he's probably in major trouble, whatever happens, that kind of a thing. You know, that's what I was going for, but...
Right, but why isn't he mad? Like,
he
that's
is,
the thing.
But he's scared.
He should be.
okay, but again, in a bravado style,
yeah, okay, that's fair.
World, he might, you could say flustered, because that might, like, mention him storming out flustered. You could mention him like whatever, but when I hear sheepishly, I'm thinking shuffle, 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 shuffle.
Right.
Head not trying to look.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He can't afford to have that. And if this were like a failure moment where he's being called out by a superior, then sure. But in a situation where he's lost control, where he's been in control, he would want to reassert control. And I'm sorry, in that scenario, I can't imagine someone doing that without trying to be big and storming out. And then when Hammer McHammerface, or whatever the heck his name was, comes out with the bing, 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 then the switch flips and he's like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, something
and that's that, and I just wanted more of the fighting. I wanted more description of the fighting, because it was just, in my opinion, it was too fast. Again, you're limited by the medium, you're limited by the length you've set for yourself, you're limited by the pattern. So I understand if you can't and stuff like that, and maybe I'm just missing it. And
no,
I'm
I
too
think it
used
needed
to
a
other
little padding too. I think you're right. Abby, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, you could say something like wrathfully, but falling apart inside or something. I think Brendan has some good points. I really did like the part where the hammer person came out, though. I think that was like, those couple lines were really good. And there was another line that I liked that I can't remember. It was in the beginning. It was like the fourth or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like the poetry itself is great.
Right.
Like the hammer guy coming out, like, yeah, that's cool. I kind of want a little bit more padding in there. Just a little bit between when the crowd recognizes and when he talks. Just a little bit to draw that out, to like really make the guy feel the tension, and then you're fired.
Was it clear that they conspired with the luchadors to get the other ones who actually were the bounty hunters, so to speak, to come out?
I mean, you made it when you said it, it was kind of clear, and I kind of picked up that they were going to do something with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Like no, not the specifics weren't clear at the time, but when it's like, oh, it was, you basically said it explicitly, so that was fine.
Okay. Gotcha. Abby?
Mm-hmm. At first I thought maybe it was just a whole bunch of people coming and ganging up, but then the title of it, if I may say so, Jessica's Rib, as well as your explanatory lines, made it all make sense.
Yep. Anyone else on this one, on my stuff here, before I get to reading Joel?
Can I make a small world building comment?
Yeah.
I find it hilarious, the idea that the music, there's some dude in the music studio who's like got cameras everywhere, and when he sees someone coming, he cues up their music.
Absolutely.
He's like, it's like, this guy's got to put this, and then like a bunch of people start running toward the ring, and he starts panicking and starts trying to like get all the music. So the music just
believe it or not, that's Joshua's self-insert.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Just like constantly trying to get this person, all the bosses. He has to he runs over, grabs a vinyl record off, slaps it on, like in case of emergency, because this guy hasn't been in the ring forever. Has to use a vinyl.
That's hilarious.
That's just my personal world building headcanon, is that because, like you said, like actual wrestling is like scripted.
Yes.
But this world, it's not. Right. So there's one guy whose only job is to get music for the people.
He's probably got assistants, like apprentices.
Do what? Say that again.
He's got apprentices.
He's got apprentices that work for him. Yeah.
Or minions or something.
The
little people to do things for him.
So in in real life, of course, obviously, like Brendan said, things are planned out. Generally speaking, you're going to have your playlist way ready in advance. However, there's a thing in wrestling that's well known, both in and out of what they call kayfabe, which is like the world where it's real, kind of the story where it's real. That is called the gorilla position. It was named after Gorilla Monsoon, who was a wrestler and an announcer later on. The gorilla position is literally like right by where the people come out, and a lot of the cues and where the ring announcer goes. The ring announcer is the person who's like the main MC, of the whole event. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever. He usually goes back to gorilla position when he's not out in the ring. And so they have him there. They have the person who runs the music. They have the main producer of the show, and they have several other things right there backstage specifically for stuff like this, for when they do have to end up calling audibles, because it's a live show. Like, things can go wrong. People can get injured. Things can happen, and you have to actually make new calls. So the fact is, gorilla position has grown to like a set in itself. It's become not a set, but like a production room in and of itself, and it's fairly large. And it would make sense that like you would probably have a full 30-40 seconds to, if you had everybody's music in one computer. Oh crap, they're going to the ring. Da-da-da, click, click, click. Like it is actually feasible, like in real life, as is, for something like that to happen, but it would have to be a comedy of errors. But I love that. I'm with you. That's hilarious to think about. Like, little guy being ready with the music and then like going and getting a vinyl. That's hilarious. I love that.
Like a bunch of little Oompa Loompas running around.
Yep. Amazing.
Yeah.
They don't have a track, so they have
and it's
to, like,
wrestling, so
it.
like wrestling has had little people in it since like the early 1900s. It has had dwarfs and stuff. Like, that could be a real thing.
I mean, I feel like the Greeks probably thought of that first.
Probably back in the day.
Yeah, the only thing I would have said is it did seem like the fight scene was a bit too short, but
okay.
The other stuff seems to be hinting well at the backstory.
Well,
yes, and I think some of you were here when I read about Anne died. Yeah, some of you were here for when Anne died, and I think I explained this to some others, but Jessica does know about his sweetheart growing up, that they were going to get married out of high school, and they grew up together, and she died. And so, like, that's something that they both know now, and so they can actually deal with it, whatever ends up happening in their relationship. But yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, Brendan, that sounds a little familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, killing the sweethearts and the child.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of sharing another part of that story tonight, but I already shared something else. So
we're not going to keep you from doing it necessarily, depending on how people want to hang out. So I only have Joel left.
Okay.
But I should probably go ahead and read his, and we can go from there. Thank you for the feedback on that. I think you're right. I do think that the fighting needs a little bit more. I wanted it to feel like chaos, but I think it's too much chaos and it's too quick. It needs some extra moments. So, all right. So, go ahead, Abby.
Kind of funny when you say you're going to read Joel. I'm expecting you to like get out one of the
Book of Joel.
Books of the Bible. Be like, sorry. But anyway.
Right before the Book of Amos. Anyway. All right.
Now sharing Joel Stanley.
He says in his note, "Hello everyone, this is a shorter chapter that lets you see how the Astari use nanites among themselves. Also, you see how upset Charm is about the first contact rules. One thing someone asked about with the last chapter that I wanted to mention, when Starlet calls Zoe an empath, she is labeling her personality type, not saying she has a power per se, just someone who has a heart for helping others with pain. But throw the nanites in the mix and now you have something. Sympathy and empathy aren't natural for Astari, but when half your culture has PTSD from the nanite attacks, the ones that do have these traits are sought out. One of the chapters I skipped because I tried to focus on Zoe, and that was where they talked about the first contact rules they were following. The comment was made, Earth has previously been deemed too scared of differences to make contact. They aren't planning on staying after the mission is over unless the humans invite them to. At the moment, they haven't. The cast for Act 1 is Charm, a young Astari who has been the handler for Charlie Team, Tiffany, a retired Marine, I'm guessing is what he meant to write there, now Loomcore mercenary who is on Charlie Team, the tough girl in the group, Cooper, her squad mate, Swing, a Quarkin mechanic who has been made the backup handler for Charlie Team, Pepper, Swing's mate. Act 2, Zell, so that's Act 1, and then Act 2, Zell, another young Astari who was handler for Kit earlier when some things went wrong. They left some survivors on the roof. One Kit spent a considerable amount of time taking out of a panic attack. Or talking out of a panic attack. This is talking out of a panic attack. As soon as Kit left, she was thrown off the roof by her boss when he saw she was bit by the zombie people. Kit took it hard, and Zell had to deal with his emotions and wasn't ready for it. Booster, the senior NCO on the ship, who the young Astari view as a father figure, he has known Kit and Fox since they were recruited. 40. Home for dinner. Charm's shoulders drooped as she watched her humans eat the foods she had prepared, only poked at her own. After wolfing down half her plate, Tiffany looked up. I thought you guys had huge appetites. What gives? It is nothing. What? No, not used to having people reject you? I suppose. I just worry that I messed up the first contact, thinking of how the reporter had responded to her. The news crew had been quarantined and Charm had brought refreshments for her charges and been seen. A medical team was now working on the burns. Charm had negotiated a meal for her team before sending them back out. That's right, Tiffany joked between bites. You single-handedly ruined any chance of Astari-Earth relations because some jerk news reporter didn't like you. Good going. I did? Charm's eyes grew large as her eyes turned red. That was just sarcasm, Cooper said, patting her arm. She means don't worry about those two. It's their loss. Oh, thank you. She smiled at them and took a few bites. Cooper looked up at her. What was your real name again? It's Kikomri. Cornry? Something like that. Comrie or Cornry. I was thinking about that. Does Ki have anything to do with the start of Kira's name? Her full name is Kimwa Oralta. It is a tradition on our world that female names begin this way. They ate in silence for another minute, thinking about this. Charm turned to them again. You are to be working on building clearing next. It has been great working with you, but I am to start my sleep cycle. Swing will be running you next. I should be back in about 3 hours. I believe you will have another break at sundown. You must rest so you are fresh for tonight. Just 3 hours? That's all the sleep you need? Tiffany asked, through a full mouth. A full rest for us is 4.5 to 5 Earth hours. We can get by with 3 every now and again. With the implants, we can force what you call REM sleep. It is not best to do often. It allows us to get a quicker rest. We save it for occasions like this. Where is Swing anyway? Cooper asked. I have not seen him since he went to bed. He and Pepper have probably found something to take apart. Let me find him. She sat silently for a moment and then laughed. Haha, yes, it is as I thought. He will be here in a moment. Swing and Pepper came running up, covered in motor oil. What happened to you? Cooper asked. Pepper is off duty and we found Kit's car, Swing said, excitement punctuated by this squeaky voice, his squeaky voice reaching an even higher pitch. We installed a chip that lets his implants connect to it. Tiffany sat bolt upright. Wait, which car? The red one, Pepper said. The red Ferrari? It's vintage. It doesn't have a computer, Tiffany said, gasping. It's a 68 Daytona. He's always talking about that thing. It's his baby. Yeah, we installed one. And when we were testing it, we found that if we could realign the fuel injectors by 0.18462 degrees and increase efficiency by a whole 1.24347%, Pepper added enthusiastically. That was Pepper, not the other. Anyway, Tiffany looked at Cooper and mouthed, "Yikes! Charm, you would not believe how this vehicle is powered," Swing said, his already large eyes even larger. Well, judging by your tone, it must be some archaic method. Nuclear expansion, Charm guessed. It is powered by a series of explosions, Swing answered, from a liquid. Your bullets are also propelled by an exploding powder. Do humans run everything off of exploding technology? Charm asked. Well, not everything, Cooper said. How is your ship powered? I cannot say, Charm said, then gave Pepper a disapproving look as the Quarking took a deep breath. Pepper deflated like a sad balloon. Classified, huh? Tiffany asked. It's okay. We wouldn't understand anyway, I'm sure. No, I just do not know, Charm suggested. If we let the Quarkins explain, it will take all week. Pepper gave Swing a quick kiss before running off. Swing joined them, and they've discussed the next part of the mission. Booster trudged down the hall, looking forward to curling up with Tally in a nice dream. The senior master guard had his hand on the door when he received a message. Master Tether, are you awake? Hezadal used his nickname like a child asking for a parent. Feeling something was amiss, Booster checked the roster. The young officer should have been asleep an hour ago. Spinner was scheduled to make her dream. That explained it. Quarkins made fun dreams, but they were rarely who you wanted to talk to if you were upset. Instead of words, Booster sent a connection request. When Hezadal accepted, a wave of pain and guilt washed over him. He sent her strength searching for the cause. His mate looked at him as he paused mid-step. He tapped his ear implant and mouthed, "Handler." Tally tossed her head in annoyance and plopped on the bed. Booster lay down and transmitted, I heard he hit you hard. Where is your bunkmate? Kikomri is still on duty and she will need to sleep when she gets off. She cannot make a dream. You are welcome to get in our bed if you want. Booster found the problem in her mind. She was reliving Samantha's death and the horrible pain after again and again. Kid is back. You should talk to him. I do not want to show him any more weakness. You two were in that together. He is going to need to talk about it as much as you. But Master Tether, her feelings came through their connection as a jumble of anxiety and shame. What if he is still hurting and I am unable to help him? I do not want to feel even worse. You must learn to share his pain. That means you will have to feel it too. By helping him to help yourself. That is what is called sharing pain. Or that's why it is called sharing pain. Instead of responding, she began to imagine scenarios where she failed and Kit rejected or even lashed out at her. Booster chuckled at the irony, knowing the person she was so afraid of was the very person who would help her the most. He tried a new approach. You do know Kit is an empath, right? His first handler was the strongest I have ever felt. I felt his aura. A small amount of her anxiety turned to curiosity. I did not know she gave it to him. There is much you must learn, young one, to be a handler for a champion. Do you trust me? Yes? Then talk to him. But he will never pick me if he thinks I am weak. You have only seen Fox. Fox becomes blind to all but his objective. A weak handler could not keep him from dangers he cannot. A weak handler could not keep him from dangers he cannot see. Fox must be led. With Kit, you need only to follow. Show Kit weakness, he will strengthen it. He started to share several memories of Kit, then stopped. Master Tether? She reached out, longing for his comfort. He smiled to himself. Talk to him. Okay. And that's the end of that. I'm sorry I can't do the voices to differentiate as well, just because I don't know the characters as well, and there's so many. Like, I try, but, you know, there's just so many.
Well, yeah, it's good. It's good that you mentioned that. That was going to be my first critique. I'm
just saying, I don't think I could do it justice. It's good stuff. I'm going to put it in the chat for anyone who wants to read it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other things. I'm going to need to read it, but I'm sure there are other things. But I love the line, do all humans power their technology by explosions?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, there's an entire subgenre of stories that are humans are the real space orcs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have no reason to be alive and flying in space, and yet we keep doing it somehow. And all the other alien races are like, how are you doing this?
I love
That shouldn't work.
I love how
What do you mean you caused an explosion?
Go ahead, Abby.
I love how they're so fascinated with the technology as well. It's really funny to me. Oh, and they ruined that guy's Mustang.
The Ferrari, yeah.
Ferrari.
It's like Mr. Weasley is like, can you tell me what the purpose is of a rubber duck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one spot, I think, where it said like her eyes grew large as her eyes grew red. That tripped me up. Listen.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's like an emotional thing or something that is specific to the aliens. He could inform us on that. I don't know. I
was mostly just like it's the grammar.
Oh, okay.
It seemed a little redundant in that spot, but mostly it's like the rest of it seemed to flow pretty well. Just sometimes whenever he's explaining the technological stuff, I don't quite understand it, but
basically the nanites let you have a Discord in your brain to talk to everybody else.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah,
but also cool world building.
Yep.
But also, it's not just talking, right? Because language is predominantly verbal. It's also the ability to translate emotions directly.
Yes. As opposed to emotes.
So, yeah.
That works.
And so it's going to come in later on whenever a villain is going to hijack it so that they are able to cast fear into the hearts of the main characters, right?
This isn't Metal Gear Solid. You don't do that, sir.
What?
Metal Gear Solid's too old for him. He's too young. The whippersnapper.
Oh my gosh! Don't say that.
Unfortunately, we are the ancient ones of this group.
What do you mean? You know what it is?
No, not really. Not much. Well, I mean, it's a video game.
Yeah, I know what Metal Gear Solid is, but you didn't know what it was either.
The point stands. I'm old.
I didn't know it was either.
I know what it is, Brendan. It's okay.
Which Metal Gear game was it? We're getting off track. We
have a track?
No.
I would hope so.
As far as feedback goes, I did also enjoy the conversation about Kit versus Fox and the difference kind of toward the end, and the character who's scared to be a handler, that kind of a thing. I thought that was interesting. It was an interesting little look into the aliens world, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I thought the way it opened, the very beginning sentences of the chapter felt a little disjointed, which is funny because the following thing is going to be even more disjointed. I remember the first one was barely touching any of her food while everybody else ate. And then it follows with a sentence, whichever character wolfed down her plate. And I thought that should probably go in front because it's like, I wonder what this is about, because the current first sentence sets the scene.
Mm-hmm.
That one is a very specific action that puts you in the eyes of a certain character.
Right.
I don't know which character this scene is supposed to play through the eyes of, or if it's more, above.
Yeah, it's more third person omniscient, more straightforward. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's different reading it, but hearing it, it seemed a little disjointed. But
yep.
I mean, that was about it.
Well, I put it in the chat for anyone who wants to look at it. Abby, do you want to share further, or Jesse, your thing? Either of you guys?
I know.
Yeah,
Jesse.
sure. I do have just a little. It's literally just a little thing.
The lions roaring, songs of praise outpouring, and joyously they take their stand on the arena's bloody sand.
Now sharing Jesse Marsalis.
So my sister was invited by her friends to go to a masquerade, and she was like, well, I don't have a chaperone. So she asked me, oh, could you chaperone? And I was like, oh, a masquerade? Of course. So I had found this old... years back, I had this little mask that I had painted white, but it wasn't very good. So the other day, I decided I was going to paint it more white. And I have some gold metal leaf as tears coming off of it, or coming out of it, which took about 2.5 hours. It was pretty brutal. But it was a fun little project because it's like, I don't know, maybe there's some symbolism in it being gold tears.
Maybe,
I don't know what it is,
somewhere.
but I could just make it up on the spot. But the thing that I really enjoyed about this was using a sealer. The metal leaf from Hobby Lobby actually went to Hobby Lobby, and the whole time I was like, in my heart, I wished around the corner I would see Brendan Stockman. I was like, sadly, whatever.
Every time I go to I'm so disappointed.
Brendan,
exactly.
you are the new
what the heck,
mascot in our brains and our hearts.
Yeah. Yay. But I used a
portal.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a portal in the back of Hobby Lobby. We can call Brendan.
If Brendan would step it up, there would be a portal in the back.
Oh boy!
What the heck, man? I needed you there. I had to ask another employee where the gold leaf was.
Oh man!
In the craft section.
Yeah, I figured that out eventually. Well, I was told it. But the next to the gold leaf was the sealer, the adhesive, but also the sealer. And so I realized it could just be layered on anything. So there's a very subtle sheen. I don't know if it comes off too well on this camera here, but there's a very slight shine that makes it almost look a little wet, as if Cheers would not. And that was kind of a decision that I had made like last minute. That took a long time a really long time to layer. But anyway, just a cool little thing. Feathers with smaller gold feathers I put on top of it. Cool little thing that I'm going to be using soon. So
sweet.
Figured I'd show it since I had it. That's
cool
what
little...
I've got.
Very cool. Abby, did you say you're gonna not share? You decided ultimately.
I
know you want to.
Yeah, I just don't feel like I probably not, because I would have to tell you about who all the characters are.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, maybe we can do that on Poets at War later on when there's not a whole lot to talk about. I will keep it in the back of my brain and ask you at a more opportune time. So,
I mean, I'm really trying to focus on this project because I have like 2 other projects that I also want to finish.
Yeah.
But this like the main one, so I just picked it up again on Tuesday. Tuesday, I want to say Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been several years. So
very nice.
It'll be fun.
Yep.
One of these days.
Looking forward to it. Well, I guess that'll wrap up for... Go ahead.
I said, unlike Hobby Lobby, it does have a magical portal.
There you go. All right. Well, with that, I'll say the sign off, and then we can hang for a second if we want. Everybody be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War.
You too can be a part of the brood of writers and poets at war. Just visit joshuadavidling.com/discord to join. If you're a true poetry patriot, you can support us on Substack and Patreon and get the recordings of all of our encouraging and strategic meetings, along with much more. Once again, all links can be found at joshuadavidling.com. Over and out.
God of song said